Hello everyone. Today we are going to be talking about my memory overclock on my 7900 XTX. So as you can see, right now it is at 2800 megahertz. Now my last video we kind of talked about that and the troubles I went through to actually get this to work. It was a lot, but regardless, so I don't have any like actual games, but I do have benchmarks that I'm going to show you of what you can expect. This is like what the settings that I have right now are pretty much as far as you can really push an XTX without putting it on water. So if you have a water cooled card, you could possibly get like up to 3350 megahertz because your hotspot's going to be cooler, your GPU is going to be overall cooler. But as far as memory, 2800 from a 2810 is about the max that you're going to be able to really get. And if you're able to get anything higher than that, then you have a really fantastic bin of GDDR6. So yeah, but this is pretty much as far as you can really push an XTX, like full stop, really. There's not much more you can do besides unlimited power limit, crank the core up, crank memory up to 2800, which if we open up GPU Z, we will have a theoretical bandwidth of where is that? Of 1080.6 gigabytes per second, which is over 100 gigabytes per second higher than the stock 960. Now, with your memory not overclocked, you're never going to hit 960 gigabytes per second. So, pretty much this was like a 1-to-1 increase. When you first start out, you're going to have around 830 gigabytes per second with 2500. And as you increase it, at 2800, it is almost a 1-to-1 increase by, well, it's a 100 gigabyte per second increase. So it's pretty in line with the increase in theoretical bandwidth from 2500 to 2800. Yeah, so that's a pretty, that's a pretty substantial amount right there. And I can tell you that it definitely can be seen in benchmarks games. It is nearly as important. Not quite as important, but it is nearly as important as overclocking your core clock. You know, it just is very it's very beneficial to your overall frame rate. So, and you're gonna see that with these screenshots. So, screenshot number 1, this is Port Royal. So obviously I'm using the exact same settings that I have right now in these benchmarks. So 2800 on the memory. And as you can see, we are getting pretty close to some of the best score on record. Now, well, I guess not 2100 or 21,000. I don't know how in the world this person got this score. I really don't, because there's I don't know how you can pull that much more performance out of an XTX from what I have right now. I really don't, but that, that's just how it was. I get, I don't know how he got 21,000, but he did. So we got right at 20,000. So on the very upper echelon of what you would expect from an XTX. And not even really what you would expect. Like on a stock XTX, you would never be able to get close to this score. So, all right, next screenshot. This is Steel Nomad, right at 7886. So the best score ever for an XTX with a 70. Well, my CPU is a 7700X, so this is a 7700X 7900X XTX combo. So that is what the best combo with those, with that CPU and GPU is 8026 minus 7886. So once again, we are right at the upper echelon, like, with a little bit of tweaking, if I did like an all-core OC on my CPU. Right now it's just PBO. I'm not, I haven't been feeling like messing with the CPU or anything like that, but mainly because my bin is so bad. But regardless, yeah, so 7886, that is what we're looking at. Very great, very good scores, all right, moving on. Time Spy Extreme, 14,511. Now, actually, this best score right here was also set by me, 14,729. Don't ask me how I got that. I really have no idea what I did to actually get that score, but I suspect that if when I got this score, my CPU was overclocked all core. And in Time Spy Extreme, the CPU test really benefits significantly. Like, you could get around like 7100 with an all-core OC with a 7700X versus PBO. You're gonna get low, like, as you can see, 6800. So really, I think honestly that's probably where that 200 points is. All right. Next screenshot. Now this, I actually beat the record. So, but there's only a few real benchmarks that people have, like the sample size is not optimal at all. So like beating this score is just not that difficult. So yeah, just not that many people have ran this test, but still, I would suspect that this is still like on the upper end of what a XTX could do in Solar Bay Extreme. So yeah, 22,000, pretty darn good. Next screenshot. Now this is Time Spy. So once again, didn't beat the record, but got pretty darn close within just about 1,000 away. So, considering the average 25,500, like that's pretty good. So, yeah, that's kind of what you can expect if you plan on fully unlocking your XTX. Like, it's not going to get much faster than this. I can promise. I have done everything. Every possible thing. I've messed with drivers, like texture filtering quality, set to performance, surface format optimization enabled, and I'm not gonna lie, they did nothing. Like, I was thinking, okay, maybe this will give me like 50 points, because I wasn't expecting anything regardless, but it really, like, it just really changed absolutely nothing. Like, yeah, what can you do? I don't know, maybe if I mess with this, like, overrid the application settings and turned on morphological anti-alias, I don't know. Maybe that could help. But other than that, there's really not all that much that you can do. I feel like the people that got really, really high scores, like, that were about 1,000 points away from me, were probably on water, and their hotspots were more tamed within the like 70 to 80 degrees C. So they were probably pegged at like 3,300 megahertz throughout the whole test, throughout the whole benchmark. And for my GPU, that's just not possible. I'm not able to do that because my hotspot, because I'm on air cooling, I am limited by temperature. At this point, my card, the only limiting factor at this point is temperature, and I have that controlled as much as I possibly can, with liquid metal, fan curve, yeah, and that's mostly all that you can really do, besides making sure that the airflow in your case is like optimal. Obviously, you want to have good airflow. XTXs really like to have as much airflow as you can provide, pretty much. Honestly, an XTX will get the best temps when you have the side glass panel off. Now, I don't do that because that's just jank, in my opinion. Like, you build a really nice PC, you want to have the glass side panel on. Like, but if you want to go, some people, they might run like an open air test bench. That's perfectly fine. And your XTX will get the best temperatures with just open air. So, yeah, that's, short little video, but that's pretty much as far as you can push an XTX without going on water. And honest, at this point, I don't think I will go on water because I've invested so much time in optimizing it for air and like, you know, pushing it as far as I possibly can with air. It's like I see what the XTX can do, and I still think that on water, I just don't think that there's much more performance in the tank. You know, I might be able to get a percent or two on water just because my core clock is able to be sustained for longer. But other than that, I don't think that I would be able to really push it any further, or you know, far enough to where it's any sort of noticeable. I just don't think I'd be able to notice a difference even if I did put it on water and my core clock was pegged at 3350 megahertz. I just don't think it'd be worth it. Now, if you're already on water, then why haven't you EVC'd your XTX? I would, you know. You could, you know, memory cranked your core clock, and I would like to think that water-cooled variants of the XTX are actually bend better. So, I could be wrong about that. I don't know how companies bend their chips, you know, because really, like binning does happen, but like how much different is, because I mean I don't think I necessarily got a bad bin for an XTX. Like I'm able to hit 3240 easily, 3250. 3300 is where I start to have issues. So I don't think I got a bad bin, because that's about where games just start to crash. And that, you know, in forums I've read that that's just generally where games will start to crash. So yeah, but you would hope that if you spent more money on a water-cooled model, that they would put the effort into like binning a slightly better chip for you, so you might be able to get 50 more megahertz. Like it might not be some crazy margin, but your XTX might be able to sustain 3300 no problem, and mine can only do 3240. Is the performance going to be drastically different? No. Like the only way that you'd really notice like a large difference in performance is if your GPU could sustain 3400 megahertz, and there might be 0.1% of XTXs that could actually hit that. And let alone people actually trying to do that regardless. Like somebody could be sitting on a godbend XTX and not even know it. They just use it at 2800 megahertz its entire life, and you know, or 2600, leave it at stock and never know that they have a crazy bin. You know, but yeah, that's really the only way that you'd notice a substantial difference is if you went like maybe 3350, you'd notice a difference. But you know, that's still like in games, you're not in games. This is like crazy optimized, way faster than a 4080. Probably faster than a stock 5080. So yeah, it's unfortunate because like the 5090 is crazy, and I wish I had one. Because I really wish I could get my hands on one and just overclock it to the, you know, as far as it possibly could, just to see what. See, at that point though, I feel like you'd be CPU limited regardless, even though I'm at 4K. But really, I'd like to mess with a 5080. You know, see what, because I know that the 5080 has some crazy overclocking headroom, and I think I could really make some headway with that. So, but anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like, comment on what you thought, and I will see y'all in the next one. See ya.